Yesterday, I found myself in a creative rut. Now, this isn't new, but it's still very annoying when it happens. I'd blocked out some time to do some video planning and I was just very uninspired by my list of ideas and I was really stuck trying to come up with anything else. So I wallowed in self-pity for a little while fighting the block, but this ain't my first rodeo. I have some tried and tested methods that help get me out of a creative rut. So let's do this together. If you are currently experiencing any kind of creative block or feeling a lack of motivation with work or personal projects, I hope this helps. And hi, hello, in case you're new here, I'm Hannah and I make videos about careers, creativity, community, parenting, books, all sorts of fun stuff. And please subscribe if you would like to stick around. Okay, the first thing that you're gonna want to do is just stop what you're doing completely and do something else. Ideally, get up, get out, and go for a walk. This is what I did yesterday when I was like in the thick of it, struggling. I just shut my laptop and I went out and I ran some errands, which is, you know, the joy, the benefits of freelancer life. I can just do that. This is the bare minimum. Just accept defeat in that moment, do something else and come back to it another time. Everything else I'm going to talk about is added bonuses and extra tools that you can keep in your toolkit for those moments when you're feeling creatively stuck. And this is actually great timing for me because this afternoon I've been invited to a press preview of the Tracy Emin exhibition at Tate Modern. I love a gallery museum visit just to inject something different in my brain. And there's no pressure of like having direct inspiration. It's just more about having other places that your brain is just like getting inputs from and then making connections with. Maybe in the future, maybe today, who knows? It doesn't really matter, it's low pressure. All right, let's go! I almost didn't go to that because I was so stressed yesterday from not coming up with any video ideas that I was like, I must just spend my time doing that instead of going to a gallery. But I'm so glad I did. Just getting out the house, getting on the tube, reading my book. It's a beautiful sunny day today. Like, I'm filming this in February and look, I'm just in a hoodie and a denim jacket. What? And I really enjoyed the exhibition as well. It was really powerful, confronting and quite visceral in some places, but also really cool to see art from somebody who has a stoma and also art about their stoma. And there was loads of other stuff around like bodies and abortion and pregnancy and a lot of stuff. So this is your permission just to get out. Go get inspiration from elsewhere, whether that's museums and galleries, or it could be shops, nature, or even the theatre. I actually went to see a play last night that my friend Abby is in called Blink, which was very interesting and weird and kind of creepy, but also charming. So success, we're making progress. Our third activity is doing something creative that is completely unrelated to work and productivity and the things connected to me making any money. Just creativity for creativity's sake, just fun and play. Which brings me on nicely to this video's sponsor, Skillshare. This is my little sketchbook, and in January I did this 30-day sketchbook challenge, and some of my favorite days in that were watercolor days. Watercolor sunflower, this vase with flowers, these books and a landscape, this thing, some leaves. Those watercolors were some of my favorite days, but I honestly had no idea what I was doing. So I've started this Skillshare class called Watercolor 101, a beginner's guide to watercolor painting. And I actually started doing it in my little watercolor paper book. Here's all of my swatches. And then I started painting some flowers. And we're going in for a second layer now. Next step. I let it dry overnight. And actually, I'm pleasantly surprised by what this looks like currently. I'm a firm believer in when you start a new hobby, if possible, to use whatever materials, supplies that you already own. Lucky for me, I already had this book and some watercolors, and I'm using my child's paintbrushes. These paintbrushes aren't cutting it, guys. I'm already feeling the limitations of my skill because these paintbrushes ain't it. They're children's paintbrushes and they're not watercolor paintbrushes. Anyway, it's fine. I've got the proper paper. So there's that. Anyway, let me fill up my tray with some colors that we're going to be using and tell you a little bit about Skillshare. Skillshare has creative classes taught by world-class creatives like professional illustrators, renowned graphic designers, and successful entrepreneurs. It is the best place to learn a new creative skill or pick up a new hobby. And if you're looking to connect with or reconnect with your creativity and maybe avoid brain rot, then Skillshare is the place where humans come to learn from other humans. And the first 500 people to click the link in the description and scan the QR code will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. I absolutely love how this has turned out. Granted, nowhere near as good as the teachers, but she's a professional. I am but a mere new hobbyist when it comes to watercolour. But I think one of my favourite things about it, and maybe this is true for other mediums as well, but I really find it with watercolour, which is that first part, I'm like, this is terrible, this looks awful. And then as the layers start building and as it comes together, and then the final product, I'm always just like, oh, it all came together. I love it. This makes me so happy. This is good. This is good for my soul. I may still need to buy myself some rubber brushes though. Now that we've done something completely unrelated to what I'm trying to make, it's time to get back in the headspace of making YouTube videos. One of the things that I think is making it harder for me at the moment is that I don't watch as much YouTube as I used to. Basically, from the moment my child was born, I just have a whole lot less time to chill out and watch some YouTube videos. But for the sake of getting out of this creative rut, I'm going to try and get some inspiration from the platform that I love the most, but maybe spend the least amount of time with. What am I doing on TikTok all of the time? But this is not, I'm like chilling out at the end of the day and I'm going to just lay on the sofa and like watch some YouTube videos or lay in bed and watch some YouTube videos as I used to do in my 20s. This is not a passive activity. This is active, engaged, watching things, looking for patterns, getting inspiration, ideas, or even just like ways of doing things, listening to how people maybe like introduce themselves in their videos, because that's definitely something that I struggle with. Even just like skimming YouTube as a whole and like seeing what like titles and thumbnails and stuff are out there. So I've given myself like an hour and a half, 2 hours, we'll see, just to go on YouTube and play around. Maybe I should have more structure. I don't know. It's been so long since I've done this. I'm just gonna let myself dive in and see where it takes me. So off we go. I will report back if anything profound happens. Maybe not. We'll see. I'm very tired. I had less time than I thought, and also I kept getting distracted. There's a lot of like personal medical life admin stuff going on at the moment, and things just kept coming in and it was just like attention divided. But I feel like I just got into a little bit of a flow at the end, and so I can see how like doing something dedicated like this more often would be beneficial, because I've got some very like rough ideas here and like some insights. YouTube seems to be liking like plainer thumbnails at the moment, or like really depends on the vertical or niche that you're in. But there are some that are like really busy, highly produced thumbnails, and then just like really like stripped back, like a screenshot from the video thumbnails. And I think my style of content definitely leans more towards that end. But I got some ideas, or just kind of like framings of titles, or like not just like an idea for a specific video, but something that's like more of a theme. Yeah, this was good, but it could have been better. I was definitely distracted. And then also obviously getting distracted by YouTube videos. I was like watching little bits of videos, but then I would get distracted by a video that was just like pure drama or goss, or like a clip from Taskmaster of Victoria and Cora Mitchell. How do I do YouTube research without then getting like completely sucked into YouTube? Alas. Okay, the fifth activity thing that really helps me whenever I find myself in a creative rut is moving my body. And that was kind of one of the first things that I did when I was just like sat on my computer screen, just like struggling in that moment. I was like, I got up and I went for a walk. It can just be as simple as that in terms of body movement. But the other things that I like to do, tennis, running, and Pilates. And today I have a Pilates class. And one of the reasons why I enjoy exercising, moving my body, but not just any kind of exercise. It has to be exercise and movement that I enjoy. I really love tennis and I really love running. Pilates, I also quite like Pilates. There was a slight hesitation there, but I do really enjoy it. I love me a class environment and just getting like really stuck in, because it just allows my mind to wander, just to like do whatever it's going to do, especially when going for runs. I think it just really helps me to get out of my head and into my body, whilst also just like having the freedom and the like no pressure to allow my brain just to do whatever it wants to do. Like, I'm not like, no, you need to be concentrating on this, like concentrate on this. It's like, no, brain, just go off on one, whatever you want to do. Especially like when going for runs, that's when I feel like the mind wandering really happens, and quite a bit during Pilates. Tennis is too intense. That's the other thing I love about tennis, is that like I'm so in the moment that there is no room in my mind to be thinking about anything else other than the next shot. So different kinds of sport or activity like have different effects on me, I guess. But yes to any kind of physical bodily movement when I'm feeling particularly creatively stuck. Just got to get out of the head. Out of the head. Activity option number 6 is coaching. Yes, the C word. As you probably know, as someone who is about to embark on training to be a qualified coach, I really do believe in the power of coaching. I have received coaching in the past, especially when I've been at a bit of a crossroads, having some sort of dilemma, and it has really helped just untangle all of my thoughts, really get to the root of what it is that I'm thinking and feeling and what I want to get out of a situation. It's really helped. Just having that time and space just to think about a problem and talk it out with somebody in a non-judgmental way, and they're also not there to give you any advice, would recommend. And I actually have a coaching call right now in about 10 minutes, because the organization I'm doing my training through, in order to get qualified and certified, you need to rack up a certain amount of hours. And one of the ways that they help you do that is through matching you with pro bono clients. And so as a student who just signed up, I got an email being like, are you interested in receiving coaching from some of our, coaches in training? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I'm getting some pro bono coaching myself from somebody else who's like a few months like ahead of me of where I'm at. And so I'm thinking maybe I bring to this session about this creative block. That's definitely something that could be helpful exploring in a coaching session. But there might just be some other unrelated things that I want to talk about as well. It's like 10 minutes before the call and I haven't quite decided what my aim is yet, but we'll get there. Cheers. Okay, coaching session done. For a while there, I didn't feel like we were getting anywhere, but an aha moment came to me. And this is one of the weird things about coaching, is that the thing that I kind of like came to the conclusion of with my creative rut is something that I already know. And yet the insight still felt kind of profound, and I have a very clear like action and change that I want to like implement because of this. But the actual logic behind it, I'm like, of course, Hannah, you know this already. So like, why haven't you already been doing this? But that's why having that like dedicated time to kind of talk through these things and examine them can really help. So I have a theory of why I got myself creatively stuck earlier this week and how I can try and avoid it in the future. Although that's kind of impossible. The sun's coming out. Can you see that? Essentially, we were talking about how I currently do my video planning, and I tend to put a block of time in my diary every few weeks or so just to keep it going so we never run out of ideas and the schedule is always scheduled. And that's what I had done early this week, and I sat down to do my video planning and I was just like, nothing. And it's because I was actually trying to do 2 different jobs at once, because video planning, there's kind of 2 parts to it. One is ideas generation. So this is the kind of creative side of things, coming up with ideas, maybe researching and writing the videos, planning the videos, like all of that kind of stuff, coming up with all of the ideas. And then the other side of video planning that I do is actually scheduling it. So this is scheduling the release date. Is there going to be a sponsor? Okay, when do I need to film it? And putting the edit deadlines in Notion so that my editor can see. Scheduling my filming dates of when I'm going to film everything. And that's the kind of project management production schedule side of video planning. These are 2 different jobs that require me to wear 2 different hats. And I know that. And yet, here I am, silly Billy, trying to do both jobs at once. And so it's no wonder that I get myself stuck. And so from now on, or the plan is, we're going to do a little experiment with this, is to actually split that task up into 2. So having one task that is just purely, this is an ideas generation session. And from that coaching sesh, I realized that I much more prefer to do that kind of work collaboratively. So whether that's with my assistant Moog, or even just with friends, like Banging Business Club with Lena and Lucy and whatnot, doing that with other people gives it just a different kind of energy. You get new and different kinds of ideas, much more fun. And then the production planning side of things is when me and all of those ideas get stuck down in Notion, and I can do my organizing and I can do my scheduling and all of that. So that feels good. There were some other smaller insights of little bits and bobs that I could do as well, but that felt like the main thing that just came out of that session. And so that feels good. But I don't want to do this first ideas generation session with my assistant Moog half-assed. So I think it might be time to go to the seaside. This next one might be a bit niche and specific to me, but find your own version of it. It is get on a train and go to the seaside to see your remote assistant for a creative planning day in person. My assistant Moog lives in Folkestone on the south coast in Kent, and it's not too far from London. So yesterday I got myself on a train and went down, and we spent the day in Folkestone's brilliant, independent, queer-owned, non-profit bookshop, and we just got stuck in. Granted, I didn't actually see the sea this time because it was so foggy, but I have been to the beach before, and there will be many times after that, I'm sure, that I will see Folkestone Beach maybe on a better weather day. But this day was great. Sometimes you just need to get out of your house, get on a train, go to a different place, see somebody in the flesh, and just have a dedicated few hours to crack on with strategic planning, creative planning, doing various different exercises to kind of get the cogs whirring or get things flowing in a different way. And I really felt that we got that yesterday. We did this activity with post-it notes where we were just writing video ideas down until we met in the middle. So that felt like it was very much needed. So by doing all of these things, have I fixed my creative rut, the block that I experienced 2 weeks ago now, in terms of the timeline of me filming this? Yes and no. It's not as clean cut as you experience one session of creative block and then you do some things and it's fixed. Creative ruts come and go. And for me, it's just about having this toolkit, having this array of options of things that I know help. And so depending on context or time or what resources I have available to me, I can cherry pick. I can pick the ones that are gonna best meet my needs in that moment. For the sake of the cause of this specific creative rut in terms of video ideas, I do feel like I've got a lot more now, but that's kind of not the point. The point for me is creative resilience, knowing that when you have those blocks, when you're in those ruts, you know what you can do to get out of it. And you also have that mental resilience of knowing it's temporary, it's fine. And that kind of, not a defeatist acceptance, but a peaceful acceptance of like, it is what it is, and tomorrow will be different. Let me know in the comments what things are in your toolkit if you ever get yourself in a creative rut or any kind of motivation block. And then maybe we can all use the comment section to get more ideas and inspiration for our next get out of a creative rut, choose your own adventure. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.